What's up, KGS Headmaster here, and welcome to Throwback Thursday, a rather special Throwback Thursday for you. You can see I'm in slightly more relaxed mode, different time of day, really thoughtful actually Throwback Thursday today. I've been thinking about this one a lot. Had some fantastic discussions on Wednesday with lots of lower sixth and some fifth year students and loads of staff about the school's reaction to the current Black Lives Matter movement and everything that goes around it, as I described in my letter to you. And I think looking at travel, cultural experience, cultural diversity has been a really important kind of knitting together of some themes this week for us at school. So I've tried to think hard about Throwback Thursday. And I suppose this is going to be less jolly, more informative. I really hope you appreciate it. But before, let's do some shout outs on birthdays. We've got Ethan in the first year, many happy returns. We've got Izzy in the fifth year with a big 1-6. And we've got a couple of lower sixth, Eleanor and Katja. So many happy returns to you all. Hope you have a great day despite lockdown. Hope you have a wonderful day with your family. Get in touch with your friends. I'm sure they all want to wish you a happy birthday. And because it's your birthday, I hope it brings everything that your hearts desire. I hope you have a great day, guys. Many happy returns. I'm going to focus on Throwback Thursday today on two sets of alumni, or three alumni, but two different scenarios. We like to throw back, I like to think about our alumni, I like to think about travel. So I bet you guys are thinking maybe when you leave sixth form, before you go to university, you might do a gap year. Maybe for some of you in the upper sixth, that's less likely right now because you're thinking, where can I go? But you might be thinking about post-university, you might be thinking about future lives, travel, going out to the world, adding that rich experience to your lives, and maybe even some of you are thinking about making a difference, maybe thinking about the VSO. We've got really good contacts through Mr. Fitzgerald with the VSO if you want to go out and do some volunteering work. But I'm going to just tell you about two former students, or two sets of former students. The first one's being Gabriel and Joe Ben, who went out to Ghana. This country I visited recently for exactly the same reasons, and they went out and they found a school, the Sacred Heart School in Ghana, and they did so much work there to uplift it, to work on it, and they got the school involved, they got their dad involved, dear old Melvin, and a lot of you know Mr. Ben. You might not know that, but you will, particularly if you're in the fifth year and you're going off to festivals at some point in your life, either in the past or future to come. You will know this man in some way, shape, or form. But Joe and Gabriel, the Sacred Heart School in Ghana, and actually once we got involved as KGS, and at least 1/5 of you at any one time will know about the Sacred Heart School in Ghana because it's one of our chosen charities every year that one of the houses support. Such an important, because there's loads of schools around it, there's loads of area around it that travel from the capital, Accra, to where the school is based. It should be like a 40-minute journey that takes 4 hours because the roads are so poor. But the people are wonderful. It's one of the most kind of welcoming places in the world. The school is amazing. It just needs so much support, and it's getting that support. And this was instigated, this link between KGS and the Sacred Heart School in Ghana was instigated by the Ben brothers, and they've just done amazing work, been connected with it ever since, as has their family. And we've kind of strengthened our connection over the years. It's lapsed a little bit, obviously, over lockdown and while we've been focusing on other priorities. Now's the time, guys, to pick this up and show our support for this school out in the heart of Ghana. And I think it's an amazing place. And I'm just going to show you some photographs. I've been showing you some photographs of our time out there. They particularly loved Mrs. Humphrey, I have to say. I think she went down very, very, very well with them. Maybe it's her African roots that have basically kind of knitted her to that community. But I'm drifting into Finale Friday there, and I won't go too much further. The other person, it's an amazing story, one of our alumni, and until recently he was on the board of governors at KGS, was Alexander McLean. And he, in his gap year, went out to Uganda, where he was working in a hospital, and he saw prisoners being treated in the hospital. He cared for them. He wasn't particularly happy with the conditions. I'm cutting a really long story short here, but he ended up visiting the maximum security prison that was designed to hold 600 prisoners, that was then holding 4,000 prisoners, many of them without trial, without any form of restitution, no legal representation. And Alex pulled all this together through a charity, the African Prisons Project, which has since devolved into the Justice Defenders. We'll put a link out there. We'll put it on Twitter. Might put it in a YouTube video. But all you got to do is actually search Alexander McLean and Justice Defenders. And there is such a story there of incredible drive, determination, and justice for people across now 4 African countries, including Kenya and Uganda. Alex is cited in the Time, not the Times, but Time, as in Time magazine, 30 people under 30 who are the most powerful and influential people changing our world today. He was the UK Young Philanthropist of the Year. He's a senior TED Talk fellow. You can watch him talk on TED channels. Up to 24,000 African people without legal representation in the 4 countries they represent have been given legal representation for free as a result of this project. But also there's education, there's societal care, there's a coming together. Just have a look at the website, it's amazing. And one of the things that really stands out on the website to me is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, which says, "There can be no justice without peace, and there can be no peace without justice." And of course, that's one of a huge number of quotations from Dr. Martin Luther King that we could draw on when we're looking at these themes. But these guys did something with their gap year. They went traveling for a reason, and they started something hugely meaningful. Now, we can't all do that, but we can all support it. And I think it's really important that we do. And we recognize that travel is not just broadening our minds and giving us inspiration and introducing us to cultural diversity and eating things we wouldn't normally eat and doing things we normally do, but actually it can be life-changing. It can be life-changing for us. But if we go back to our motto, work well, be happy, but what does that mean and how can you fit on other people? It can be life-changing for other people. You can really influence the world and make it a better place. And that's what we're kind of starting to do, we hope. And that's what these guys started to do quite a few years ago. So I'm going to finish on a quote. I'm going to stay in keeping with Dr. Martin Luther King. And this isn't necessarily about travel, but it is about moving. It's about traveling in a metaphorical as well as a physical way. And he says, if you can't fly, then run. And if you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And I hope that's what we do as Kingston Grammar School. I hope that's what you do as individuals, that we just keep moving forward. It's so important. I'm thinking of you all. Keep looking after yourselves. Keep looking after your families. Keep being kind to your friends. Keep working well and being happy. Let's see if we can make a difference, guys. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Finale Friday and the travel quiz. Until then, Headmaster out.